What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to TRU Raider Podcast. I am your host, TRU Raider. Now, today we got some breaking news, and pardon me, man. I'm filming this for my lunch break. It takes forever for videos to upload from my work, so it might not even upload until this evening. So if you're seeing this late, I'm getting on it right away. But the Las Vegas Raiders have hired General Manager John Spytek. Now, John Spytek was just serving as the assistant general manager with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was an integral part in bringing Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. They have a good relationship. They have a relationship that goes all the way back to Michigan, where they were teammates over there with the Wolverines. Now, I really think that this is a good hiring. There wasn't a whole lot of GMs that I was really attached to, honestly. But I'm hearing a lot of good things about John Spytek, and really he's at the top of a lot of people's lists. So I think that this is a very good hire, and I'm pretty happy about this. John Spytek has been in the NFL for 21 years. He's been scout, he's been director of player personnel, he's been the vice president of player personnel and assistant general manager. He is with the Lions, the Eagles, the Browns, Broncos, Bucks, and now over here with the Raiders. Now, I think a lot that I like about this is that he has a history of success. He gets a lot of credit for being an integral part of getting Baker Mayfield over to the Bucks and kind of having that resurgence in his career. So I like how, if that's reflective of how he looks at free agency and how he's able to assist in that manner, I think it's going to be great, man. Honestly, I do not know what coaches he's really familiar with or maybe might be looking at, but we are hiring the general manager first instead of the coach first. So we're not putting the carriage in front of the horse, right? We're going the proper way that it's supposed to be, right? A lot of people have been saying when I go live, Liam Cohen and John Spytek, and pair those together. Liam Cohen he's the offensive coordinator for the Bucks. He just signed an extension with them. He got a huge pay raise to stay over there. So I do not see that being a possibility where he kind of backs out of that deal and goes ahead and takes a head coaching position with us. So you can mark him off the list. Aaron Glenn accepted the Jets head coach position, so he's off the table. And, I'm getting a little bit skeptical, right? Because, Pete Carroll is one of the main people that we've been looking at. He's, one of two head coaches that actually came in person to interview. And what reports said that he spent like the whole day at Allegiant Stadium and that it went really well. So Pete Carroll might be who we're looking at. I'm not really sure at this point, because really Todd Monken, from the offensive coordinator from the Ravens, is another one to consider. And then there's been other reports popping up about this whole thing that happened with our beat writers for the Raiders, right? Where they kept saying, yeah, Ben Johnson's pretty much a lock. We're the front runners, da-da-da. And Adam Schefter came out and was like, no, like the Raiders are not the front runners. And it turned out that we were never the front runners, right? We were really led in the wrong direction by the Las Vegas Raiders beat writers. And those beat writers are also the same people who said that the Raiders have zero interest in Deion Sanders. Now, I know a lot of people don't want Deion Sanders to coach the Raiders, and I don't really know how I would feel about that. Like, I really liked Deion Sanders as a player when I was a kid. Deion Sanders was probably the first player that really caught my attention. My grandpa was a Cowboys fan. I never really got into the Cowboys. I wasn't going to follow him on that, but I liked Deion Sanders. And it took me a little bit to find my team, right? But as a player, I liked him. As a coach, I don't really know how that would really translate for him coming to the NFL and coaching in the NFL. I don't really think that gives us the best chance of success. The only thing that I would really like about Deion Sanders becoming our coach would be that Shedeur Sanders would essentially be a lock at pick number 6. I don't think we'd have to trade up, because who in their right mind is going to draft Shedeur Sanders knowing that Deion Sanders is at pick number 6 and going to say, hell no, he's going to play for me. So I think people would just kind of step away, and he wouldn't even have to do anything weird to make that happen. That's really the only pro that I see in that. The cons that I see in that is that, tying a head coach and QB1 together as a father-son thing, I think it's a little bit weird for one, but mostly it's because if there's a problem with either the coach or the quarterback, they're tied together, and it could create further problems down the line. So I really don't know how I would feel about seeing anything like that. A lot of people have been saying we should get Cliff Kingsbury. Now, Cliff Kingsbury has done an excellent job with the Commanders, with Jaden Daniels. He did a great job with USC, with Caleb Williams. And he was a head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He did have a good offense when he was there, but it didn't really go too well for him. I could see there being a possibility of him trying to, get his head coaching career back, but I think it's too soon. I think that he's going to want to sit as an offensive coordinator for at least a few years in the NFL, because he went from being an NFL head coach down to being a coach in college, and then coming up to be an offensive coordinator in Washington with the Commanders, right? It's hard not to call them by their old name. And so it really just kind of puts him in a position where it's a little bit too green. It's a little bit too early for him to kind of make that step. But you guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this signing, the John Spytek as general manager. I have a feeling that we're going to start hearing a whole lot of news in the next couple of days. I'm really hoping that we don't do what we did when Cliff Kingsbury backed out, right? Because we've been, last year, the reports went out, Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, and then it got pulled back, and never mind, he's not. And then we ended up signing Luke Getsy, and that was a horrible, horrible matching here in Las Vegas. I would hate to see us do that same thing with a head coach, right? All reports were saying Ben Johnson to Vegas, and then he went to the Bears. And I would really hate for us to just kind of jump on some weird position, some coach that really just doesn't put us in the best position for us to win, right? And so I would really, really hate to see that, you guys. I have a feeling that Tom Brady really has a lot to do with this, because they have a relationship. They've had a relationship for, I think, 25 years or something like that, John Spytek and Brady. And so I really think that the two of them together are going to make a calculated decision on who the head coach is going to be and who's going to give us the best chance of success. Let me know who you think that's going to be. And if I didn't mention the coach's name, put it in the comments. That way I can, we can talk about it. And if I don't know the coach that you're talking about, because I'm not an NFL expert, I'm a Raiders fan. If I don't know about that coach, I'll look up that coach and I'll see what I can find out. And like always, I love you, nation. I'll catch you on the next one.